Lionel Messi led Argentina from the front for a thumping win over Bolivia in the South American World Cup qualifying match. Messi, who missed 2 rounds of the competition in October due to a right ankle injury, played right from the start to the finish in front of raucous fans at the monumental News9 Stadium as a full house chanted his name after he opened the scoring in the 19th minute, classic Messi style. Messi struck a hat-trick and assisted in 2 other goals as Argentina crushed Bolivia for a 6-0 victory during the South American qualifiers for the FIFA 2026 World Cup. Notably, this was Messi's 10th international hat-trick and his first after returning from an injury he sustained at the Copa America in July. Argentina remained leaders of the round-robin competition with 22 points after 10 matches. They are 3 points clear of second-place Colombia, who earlier beat Chile 4-0. Uruguay, another strong competitor and tricky customers, who played a goalless draw with Ecuador, and Brazil come next with 16 points. The Uruguayans are in the 3rd position on goal difference. The top 6 teams in the region will secure automatic berths in the next World Cup. The 7th place team, currently Bolivia, will play in an international playoff for the spot in the tournament in 2026. Messi's first goal came after a mistake by a Bolivian defender who missed a pass and allowed the 37-year-old great to run freely and finish unchallenged in front of goalkeeper Billy Vizcarra. Messi assisted Lautaro Martinez's goal in the 42nd minute and gave a decisive pass once again in injury time for a goal by Julian Alvarez. Argentina appeared to slow down their pace after the break, but scored again with Thiago Almada in the 69th minute. The striker scored from close range after a low cross by Nahuel Molina. Messi's show had two great finishing touches, of course, from the edge of the box, the first in the 84th and the second in the 86th minute. Meanwhile, in another South American World Cup qualifying match, Brazil coach Dorival Junior, a major relief with his team's convincing performance for a 4-0 home win against Peru today after, a drubbing of sorts in the first few games. This month's rounds of South American qualifying were important for Brazil coach Dorival Junior. His team was knocked out in the quarterfinals of the latest Copa America and was struggling against rivals like Paraguay and Venezuela, whom they used to beat easily. Junior's chances of success seemed low in matches against Chile and Peru due to injuries affecting several of his starters like goalkeeper Alisson, defender Eder Militao and striker Vinicius Jr., all 3 big names. But a last-minute win against the Chileans and a convincing display against the Peruvians will give him some sort of relief, of course. Against Peru, Rafinha scored from the spot twice to put Brazil in front in Brasilia. He netted the first in the 38th minute and scored the second in the 54th. Substitute Andreas Pereira made more than 60,000 fans at the National Stadium gasp when he scored with a volley in the 71st minute. Another substitute, Luis Enrique, scored for the 2nd consecutive match for the national team with a classy shot from the edge of the box. Meanwhile, shifting continents but sticking to football in the UEFA Nations League, Scotland brought to a halt Portugal's perfect winning record. Cristiano Ronaldo was held scoreless as Scotland forced a 0-0 draw at Hampden Park in Glasgow yesterday. Coach Roberto Martinez noted Portugal's lack of individual quality and missed chances in spite of dominating possession and shots as Ronaldo's team struggled to break down a resilient Scottish defence. Martinez faced criticism for not having a backup plan when his team struggled to break through Scotland's defence. Ronaldo, sitting on 133 whopping international goals, had a few good chances to break the deadlock, but he couldn't. He seemed upset with the referee after the game ended, leaving the field with a sarcastic applause, waving his arms and with his thumbs down. Portugal had beaten Croatia, Scotland and Poland in Group A1, which they still lead with 10 points, 3 more than Croatia and 6 more than Poland at this point in time. Last place Scotland stayed on 1 point. They came into the match on a 9-match winless streak and had lost 4 games in a row. Portugal midfielder Bernardo Silva confessed, and I quote, "There was a lot of missing things for the team tonight." Well, Kylian Mbappe has made headlines yet again, albeit this time for a wrong reason, as media reports suggested that the French footballer was subject of an investigation over a rape incident at a hotel in Stockholm last week. But his representatives have claimed that the allegations of rape against the football star are totally false and slanderous rumors. The alleged incident suggests reports took place on the 10th of October. Here's what happened. Swedish prosecutors have confirmed a probe was launched into an alleged rape case in Stockholm. However, they did not identify a suspect per se. Sweden's public broadcaster and two dailies named Kylian Mbappe as a suspect, citing unnamed sources. Media reports said that the 25-year-old had been on a private trip to Stockholm last week with a group of friends. He also visited a nightclub. On Monday, he posted a link to a French media story about a matter on social media and called it a fake news. Mbappe's lawyer told a French TV channel that he had done nothing wrong and that he was flabbergasted because of these allegations and that it was unclear if he was the target of the complaint. She said Mbappe would cooperate with the Swedish justice system if he was directly targeted by an investigation. No names at this point in time. SVT and tabloid Expressen, citing unnamed sources, reported that the level of suspicion directed at Kylian Mbappe, the Real Madrid superstar, by investigators was reasonable, which is the lower of the two levels in the Swedish legal system. The higher level, probable suspicion, is usually required to have a suspect remanded in custody. Amidst the allegation, Mbappe is, of course, continuing to train with Real Madrid club. The French team captain had already missed two UEFA Nations League games for his national team, citing injuries. He was, putting in the hard work in the gym. He's also faced criticism for staying away from France's 4-1 win over Israel and the 2-1 victory against Belgium. And take a look at this. Former Chelsea head coach Thomas Tuchel has signed a contract to become the new England manager. That's right. According to Sky Sport report, the German is set to become the third foreign manager to take charge of England's national football team. Sweden's Sven-Goran Eriksson and Italian Fabio Capello being the other two only. Now, Thomas Tuchel, who led Chelsea to the Champions League title in 2021, will replace interim boss Lee Carsley 3 months after Gareth Southgate resigned following England's defeat against Spain in the European Championship final in July. The 51-year-old Thomas Tuchel has been out of work since leaving Bayern Munich at the end of last season as the German Giants finished third in the Bundesliga behind Bayer Leverkusen and VfB Stuttgart. England's Football Association will hold a news briefing at Wembley today with Chief Executive Mark Bullingham. Now, Tuchel built his reputation as a forward-thinking tactician in the Bundesliga after taking over from Jurgen Klopp at Mainz in 2009. When Klopp left Borussia Dortmund at the end of 2014-15 campaign, Tuchel also replaced him there, leading the team to a German Cup success in 2017. He joined Paris Saint-Germain later, the same following year, replacing Unai Emery and winning back-to-back French league titles. Tuchel also took PSG to their first Champions League final in 2020, which they lost to Bayern Munich before leaving for Chelsea. Taking over the England national team represents a new challenge for the German, who will be tasked with delivering a first major trophy since England won the World Cup on home soil back in 1966. Meanwhile, Manchester United's most successful manager, Sir Alex Ferguson, will step down as the global ambassador of the club. Manchester United part owners Ineos have ended Ferguson's multi-million pound contract. Alex Ferguson, a familiar sight in the Old Trafford director's box for years, had signed an agreement with United in 2013 to be a club ambassador. The contract was valued at 2.16 million British pounds annually. The split was amicable. The 82-year-old Ferguson was willing to step aside from the time-consuming responsibilities, but he will always welcome the Old Trafford atmosphere. There have been job cuts virtually across the board at United as part of cost-saving measures at the club, which has been incurring losses for some time now. Alex Ferguson, who will step down from his ambassadorial duties at the end of this season, has already led United to 38 trophies, including 13 Premier Leagues and 2 Champions League titles. Well, does blow your mind now, doesn't it? Before he retired from the management in 2013. Manchester United this season are currently in 14th place after finishing a worst ever 8th in the Premier League just last season, despite spending just over £200 million on players in the close season.